Sorcery and Forbidden Lore, a lecture by Mark Mirabello, Ph.D., Professor of History, Shawnee State University in the United States. At night, by the light of one candle, listen to these words. Warning: if the fire burns blue, a ghost is present. If there is a stagnant odor, the ghost is malicious. To protect yourself, throw a handful of grave earth from a cemetery, at his face. That will force the ghost to obey you. Tonight I will be discussing forbidden knowledge and occult secrets. Caution, do not practice these spells. On Christmas Day, 1715, in Jena, Germany, the authorities found 2 dead men. Their bodies were covered with horrible scratches and burns, and their trousers were filled with their own excrement. A 3rd man, barely alive, was insane with terror. Using a magical text, The Harrowing of Hell, by Johann Faust, the men had tried to summon a demon to find hidden treasure. Always remember the words of Abbot Johann Heidenberg, a 16th century scholar. With magic, it is the practice that is dangerous, not the knowledge. How to recognize a sorcerer. Beware of anyone with red polish on the nail of one of his little fingers. He serves Satan. If you cannot see your reflection in someone's eyes, be afraid. That person is a sorcerer. The greatest of all sorcerers, the most powerful sorcerer, is the product of incest. Specifically, he is the child of a mother who has copulated with her own son. How to gain magic power. To gain magical power, spend a night with the corpse of a sorcerer. Another way to gain magical power, this is from India. At midnight, go to a cemetery, a burning ground for corpses, or a place where criminals have been executed. While seated on a corpse, meditate. If you can do this without fear, ghosts and female demons will become your slaves, and they will do what you command. The Red Sect. The Red Sect is a secret group of sorcerers within voodoo. They are summoned to meetings by drums only they can hear. To be initiated into the Red Sect, the neophyte must drink human blood and must ritually murder a loved one. The sacrificial victim is called the goat without horns. The most famous member of the Red Sect was Francois Duvalier. Elected president of Haiti in 1957, Duvalier ruled as dictator until his death in 1971. Although trained as a medical doctor, Duvalier was a great sorcerer. To predict the future, he consulted a shrunken human head. He kept the head in his office. In his most famous act of sorcery, Duvalier issued a death hex on President John F. Kennedy. Not long afterwards, on November 22, 1963, Kennedy was killed. How to increase your power. Aleister Crowley, the 20th century occultist, said that learning to speak words backwards or in code was a path to spiritual mastery. How to protect yourself from evil. According to the Jewish Talmud, to protect yourself from all evil, gird yourself with a rope used to hang a criminal. Magic. According to legend, magic confers great powers. With magic, the sorcerer can brew potions to confer immortality, invulnerability, the power of flight, or the faculty of prophecy. Also, with magic, the sorcerer can shapeshift into animal forms. The sorcerer can turn men into pigs, and he can create beautiful women from flowers. 2 basic ideas of magic. Imitative magic, or like causes like. According to imitative magic, there is an occult connection between 2 things that resemble one another in form or color. If you pierce a voodoo doll with briar thorns, the victim the doll resembles will feel agony. To make the doll, use clay stolen from a fresh grave, ashes from a cremated human, black spiders, and water in which a toad has been washed. A variation of this ritual: make a dowel from beeswax. Pierce the dowel, which resembles your victim, with 13 needles. Place the dowel on a grave as the sun sets. Select the grave of someone who died a violent death. A second principle of magic is contagious magic. According to contagious magic, things long connected remain connected across space and time. If you dress a corpse in clothing stolen from your intended victim, and if you place the corpse with the victim's clothes in some secret spot in the forest, as the body rots, the victim will sicken and die. Important point. According to Jean Baudin, a 16th century French demonologist, the cursed doll or voodoo doll will kill 2% of the time. When scientists debunk magic, they're often ignorant of the actual rules. Other principles. In ancient legend, we must dance clockwise for worship. To release occult forces, the powers of darkness move counterclockwise. Spells should be recited from memory, not read. Spells must not be translated, for translating spells causes them to lose power. Iamblichus said spells in ancient Egyptian and ancient Chaldean had great power because they were old. And all magical operations use old tools. According to legend, old tools have more power. Magic circle. When engaging in magic, always stand inside a magic circle for protection. In a witch's coven, the circle is formed with their bodies. When practicing alone, make 3 concentric circles from strips of skin cut from a young goat. The largest circle should be 9 feet in diameter. Between the circles, inscribe the names of God and magical characters. Secure each circle to the floor by 4 nails pulled from the coffin of a dead baby. For great power, you need a skull from a parricide, the horns of a goat, a bat that has been drowned in blood, and the severed head of a black cat fed on human flesh. During magical operations, never leave the circle. The only metals allowed inside the circle are gold and silver. Some magical herbs. Wolfbane, also called monk's hood. Wolfbane first grew from the vomit of the 3-headed dog guarding hell. Wolfbane is used in shape-shifting magic. Belladonna, also called deadly nightshade, is a poisonous substance used in dark magical acts. Belladonna is used in astral projection, sending your soul elsewhere. Henbane. Henbane is used in the mysterious witch's ointment. Foxglove. This is used in love spells. Oddly, today, foxglove is the source of the heart drug digitalis. Mandrake, also called devil's testicles by the Arabs, has power over the creatures of darkness. Mandrake is mentioned in Genesis chapter 30. And at night, mandrake berries can phosphoresce or emit light. According to legend, the first mandrake grew from the sperm which fell from a hanged man who had ejaculated. Difficult to harvest. Mandrake shrieks when it is uprooted, and hearing the shriek will cause madness. This is referred to in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, Act 4, Scene 3. To safely extract mandrake, at midnight use a trained dog to uproot it. Plug your ears with wax from a beehive. Forbidden books. There are many tales of forbidden books. One king in India had a book which contained this warning: this book is not to be opened or recited, but to be worshipped in a library. When the king's sister opened the book, she was blinded. Very literally, her eyes fell from her head. In Europe, the 18th century had tales of a forbidden book. Anyone looking at the book, even an innocent glance, would automatically raise the devil. Grimoires are magical texts. To be effective, magical texts must be copied by the magician with consecrated paper and ink. Printed texts are useless. One infamous text is the sworn Book of Honorius. It must never be given to a woman. That instruction is in the book itself. Another infamous grimoire is the Red Book of Apin. Known to have existed a century ago, tradition says the Red Book of Apin was stolen from the devil with a trick. The manuscript of the Red Book contained a large number of runes and incantations. The strange volume allegedly conferred dark power on the person who possessed it. The book was so dangerous, the owner had to wear a circle of iron on his brow when he used it. The last known owner was from a Scottish family, the now extinct Stuarts of Invernahyle. Time of spells. The day is the time for religion. The night is the time for sorcery. The waxing moon, when the moon is growing larger, is the time for constructive magic. When the moon is waxing, the horns of the crescent point to the east. Herbs are most important if gathered at full noon. The waning moon is for destructive magic. When the moon is waning, the horns of the crescent point towards the west. The time of the dark moon, when the moon disappears from the sky, is the time for sinister activities. It was during the dark moon that the Ozark witches were initiated. Saturday, the day of Saturn, is the day of danger, destruction. Tuesday, the day of Mars, is the day of blood. The Arabs say Cain killed Abel on Tuesday, John the Baptist was killed on Tuesday, and Eve had her first menstrual blood on Tuesday. Scrying. Scrying is a method of divination. Scrying allows you to see the unknown past, your identity in a previous life, for example, the unknown present, the identity of your secret lover, for example, and the unknown future, the winning lottery number, for example. Scrying involves peering into some shiny surface. The Aztecs used the famous smoky mirror, a piece of obsidian. The Tibetans used polished steel. Some people use mirrors. The best scrying mirror is a mirror framed on three sides. Nostradamus, the French physician and astrologer who lived 1503 to 1566, is perhaps the most famous scryer. Nostradamus used an ancient Greek technique. At night, alone in his study, he set up a brass tripod with a bowl of water. Using a wand, he touched the tripod and then anointed his robe with a few drops of water. He gazed into the still water until it became cloudy, and he saw visions. The crystal ball, the most common method of scrying, was invented in the 18th century. If you use a crystal ball, know that the crystal ball must never be handled. Touching the crystal ball directly reduces its effectiveness. When looking into a crystal ball, pass your right hand over it. This helps the images appear. Other methods of divination. Pour hot wax into water on New Year's Eve. The shape will be the answer to your question. Another method. This was used by Joseph in the Old Testament. Make a divining cup by pouring oil and water into a chalice. You can read the future in the patterns. Another method. Place the roots of wild carrots, called Queen Anne's lace, under your pillow. You will dream of your future. Another method. This one is for young girls only. To see her future lover in a dream, a young girl must pick a sprig of a yew tree from a graveyard that she has never visited. If she sleeps with the sprig under her pillow, she will see her future love in a dream. Some superstitions. If stars are seen by day, a war is coming. Never whistle in the dark. This draws spirits. Never mention a dead person's name until his body has rotted in the grave. Always sleep on your right side. According to the Chinese, sleeping on your back or stomach will bring bad dreams. Never gamble with a woman in the room unless she is also gambling. Never propose to a woman in a church. It curses the marriage. On your wedding day, enter the church with your right foot first. On the wedding night, the last person to fall asleep lives longest. If ivy grows profusely on a grave, a woman whose love was scorned is buried there. Some Halloween spells. A Celtic Halloween tradition. A blindfolded male has to choose one of 3 empty bowls. One bowl is empty, one has dirty water, and one has clean water. If he chooses the first, he will remain unmarried and die alone. If he chooses the third, he will marry a virgin. If he chooses the second, he will marry a woman of loose morals. Another Halloween tradition. 2 lovers must throw 2 hazelnuts into a fire. One nut symbolizes the man, the other nut symbolizes the woman. If one nut jumps out of the flames, that person will be unfaithful. If one nut burns, that person will be passionate. If both nuts burn, there will be marriage. How to make a man from corpses. To make a man from the parts of corpses, read Eleazar of Worms, who lived in the 11th century. How to make a monster. According to legend, children born or conceived during eclipses will be monsters. Oddly, Pope John Paul II was born during a solar eclipse on May 18, 1920. An aphrodisiac. To increase sexual desire, eat the eyelashes of a happily married couple. Incidentally, to suppress sexual desire, eat lettuce. Lettuce is an anaphrodisiac. How to make a woman amorous. This spell comes from ancient Egypt. Before sleeping with a woman, a man should rub his genitals with stallion saliva. Love spell. For love, take a mirror and reflect moonlight into the eyes of a sleeping person. He or she will fall in love with you. A love spell for men only. Buy a small mirror without haggling over the price. Write the name of the woman you desire 3 times on the back of the mirror. Next, find a pair of copulating dogs or cats and capture their reflection in the mirror. Hide the mirror in a place where she will pass by frequently. Leave the mirror there 9 days. If you retrieve the mirror and put it in your pocket, the woman will be drawn to you. To keep a lover forever faithful. With the communion host in your mouth, kiss your beloved. She or he will remain forever faithful. To make a barren wife fertile. A woman wanting to become pregnant should rest nude on her back under the full moon all night. At sunrise, the dew on her body will make her fertile. How to make a barren woman fertile. This is another method. In India, a woman who wants a baby should kiss the flaccid organ of a priest or a mentally retarded man. How to tell if a person is a lecher. According to Albert the Great, a medieval scholar, if dogs follow a person, he is a lecher. How to turn a woman into a hussy. Give a woman the blouse or dress of a harlot, and give her a mirror that a prostitute used to look into every day. The woman will become shameless and lustful. How to tell if a woman is a virgin. In legend, the lily, the symbol of purity, is associated with the Virgin Mary. If you feed powdered yellow lily to a woman and she is a virgin, she will feel the immediate need to urinate. How to jinx someone's wedding. When you attend their wedding, wear green. The brighter, the better. How to make a man impotent. First, steal some of his pubic hair. Then, while uttering a curse, tie knots in the hair. How to make a husband blind to his wife's adulteries. A wife must steal copper coins that have been placed on the eyes of a corpse. She must wash those coins in wine. If she gives her husband the wine to drink, he will be blind to her sexual infidelities. How to make a person cruel. To make a person cruel, give him beer mixed with pulverized human bones to drink. A hex spell. Take nails from a coffin, and with a stone hammer pound the nails into the footprint of an enemy while uttering curses. Cover the nails and the print with a little graveyard dust. How to be damned. If you point at the moon 9 times, 9 consecutive times, you will not go to heaven. How to enter heaven. According to the practitioners of sorcery, if you put a stillborn baby in an open grave, the next person buried there will go to heaven. How to make a sick person sicker. To make a sick person sicker, have a menstruating woman sleep in the room. When a woman is in her fertile time, her presence invigorates. When she is menstruating, her presence weakens. How to cure hemorrhoids. To cure hemorrhoids, rub the hemorrhoids with the sweat from a corpse. How to stay healthy. According to legend, carry an acorn of oak in your pocket. It preserves health and vitality. How to have flawless skin. According to Pliny, a Roman writer, lion fat is good for the complexion. How to become invisible. Tibetans believe in the power of becoming invisible at will. They believe that if, through years of mental discipline, the adept can stop all thought and mental activity, he will disappear from view. Another spell to become invisible. Construct a hand of glory. To make a hand of glory, fashion a candle from the fat of a murdered fetus. Mount the candle on the dried, severed hand of a hanged man. When you light the candle, you can move in darkness without being seen. How to make the invisible visible? To make the invisible visible, throw dog's blood on it. How to turn an animal into a human? Let water rest 20 years in a human skull. According to Asian legend, any animal that drinks the water, that water, acquires the power to take human shape at will. Korean history has a famous story of a female fox, a vixen, who became a woman. How to see a Native American spirit or god. Among the Sioux, the so-called Dakota, before any important undertaking, a man would seek a vision. This is the technique. Wear only a robe, a loincloth, and moccasins. Take only a knife, a pipe, and smoky materials. Go to a high place where there is solitude. Remove every living thing from an area large enough to sit on or lie on. As you enter the prepared space, ask the four winds not to bring inclement weather. Once you have entered your prepared space, stay there until you have had a vision or until you become convinced that you have failed. In the space, meditate on your quest. You may invoke gods, mentally or verbally, either in song or in prayer. You may sit, stand, or lie down. You may be awake or asleep, but you must not leave the space. You may smoke as often as you wish, but you must not eat or drink anything. The vision may come when you are awake or asleep. It may appear as any living thing or any inanimate object. It may be psychic in nature, or it could be a falling star, a sudden storm, a high wind, or a wolf call. It may speak clearly, it may speak in a mysterious language that you do not understand, or it may speak in the language of birds or beasts. Always, the vision will say or do something to make known that it is the vision that you seek. The werewolf. February is the time of werewolves. Infamous werewolves in history include Peter Stubb. Executed in 16th century Germany for being a werewolf, Stubb confessed to eating his own son's brain. Another infamous werewolf was Gilles Garnier. Garnier was burned at the stake in France in 1573 for eating children alive. In the history of Greece, history, not myth, Greek historians reported that one man, a former werewolf, finished first place in an Olympic event. Types of werewolves. There are 3 types of werewolves. Hereditary werewolves. These run in families because of a curse. Involuntary werewolves. These people become werewolves because of a misfortune. For example, the bastard of a priest will become a werewolf. Also, someone surviving the bite of a werewolf will himself become a werewolf. Voluntary werewolves. These are people who choose to become werewolves and commit depravities to do so. If you wish to become a werewolf, you must commit several abominations. After drinking rainwater from the footprint of a wolf, you must eat the raw brains of a wolf, drink blood from the brain of an insane person, and wear a leather shirt made from the skin of a hanged man. How to recognize a werewolf. Whatever his shape, the werewolf will always have human eyes. How to liberate a werewolf. To liberate a werewolf, stab his forehead 3 times with a knife. Shooting the werewolf with a silver bullet is not in the lore. That is a Hollywood fiction. How a werewolf may free himself. To end the werewolf curse, the werewolf must tear open a pregnant woman and eat her fetus. If the fetus is a male, the curse will be lifted. Vampires. Who becomes a vampire? According to legend, a suicide, a sorcerer, the illegitimate child of parents who are themselves illegitimate, and anyone who dies from a vampire bite will become a vampire. It is also believed that any woman who dies while nursing a baby will become a vampire. Another method, if a witch has sex with the devil, the child will be a vampire. Also, anyone born with red hair is likely to become a vampire. In medieval legend, Judas, Satan, and Cain were redheads. In Eastern Europe, when redheads died, they were buried with a communion host in their mouths to keep them from becoming the undead. Hereditary vampires. There are reports that vampirism runs in families. Glamis Castle, near Dundee, Scotland, is the ancestral home of the Strathmore family. According to tradition, Macbeth killed Duncan there. The castle, called the most haunted site in Scotland, has a secret room. According to legend, a vampire is periodically born into the Strathmore family, and each incarnation lives several hundred years. He is imprisoned in the secret room. Curiously, the mother of Queen Elizabeth II was a Strathmore. Her mother married George VI. For the record, another ancestor of Queen Elizabeth II was Lady Glamis, who was burned alive in 1537 for witchcraft. How to make a vampire. One way to make a vampire is to shed human blood on a grave. The body in the grave will become a vampire. How to protect yourself from vampires. To protect yourself from vampires, use holy oil, that's olive oil that has been exorcised, and the white flowers of garlic. Not the garlic itself, but the white flowers. In Sanskrit, from India, garlic means slayer of monsters. The crucifix will also repulse vampires unless you hold it upside down. Then it becomes a satanic emblem. In Chinese legend, jade instead of a crucifix repels vampires. And the Chinese use a willow branch instead of garlic flowers. How to kill a vampire. To kill a vampire, stake him to the earth with a wooden stake made from white thorn. Cut off his head and burn the corpse. Zombies. Zombies are people caught in the twilight world between life and death. Zombies do not eat brains, and they are not rotting. A zombie has no mind, soul, and no will of his own. The zombie is treated as a slave. In Haiti, where the zombies are made, the people do not fear zombies. They fear being turned into zombies. Zombies are harmless. They have blank eyes, slack jaws, and they speak in a nasal twang. They move slowly. They have no memory, and they do not know their names. How to make a zombie. There are several ways to make a zombie. One technique is to make zombie powder. Making zombie powder is illegal in Haiti. The alleged ingredients in zombie powder include ground-up human bones, poisonous plants, millipedes, tarantulas, spiders, the skin of a poisoned tree frog, the secretions of poisonous cane toads, and 4 types of pufferfish. Blow the zombie powder into the victim's face or add it to his food. The victim will become tired and dizzy. He will feel tingling in his extremities. Gradually he will become paralyzed. Ultimately he will appear dead. The victim may still be conscious, but he cannot move or speak. He may witness his own burial. Later, go to the graveyard at night and use a spell to trap his mind soul in a bottle. The Haitians say we have 2 souls, a mind soul, that's our mind, and a life soul, which gives us life. You're trapping the mind soul. Give the victim a second potion that awakens and enslaves him. When he emerges from his coffin, whip him. He is now a zombie and must obey your commands. How to stop a zombie. To stop a zombie, give him salt to eat. If zombies taste salt, their memories will return, and they will kill the sorcerer who made them what they are. After the murder, the zombie will look for his grave. When he touches the grave, he will decompose. How to keep someone from becoming a zombie? To keep a person from becoming a zombie, sew his mouth shut before burial. Another technique, bury him face down with a dagger in his hand. Another technique, with iron nails, nail his body to the bottom of a coffin. How to see a supernatural entity. According to one scholar in Athens, by whirling a sphere, it is possible to summon or dismiss supernatural beings. Beware of demons. Demons like places that are warm and dark, so they love to possess living human bodies. If a person is possessed by a demon, the ancient Babylonians splattered him and his bed with the blood of a slaughtered piglet. How to see demons. The Jewish Talmud says demons outnumber humans. The Talmud claims we can see demons by burning portions of a black cat and placing the ashes in our eyes. According to legend, the devil invented the cat accidentally. Where to see demons. Evil demons are found in dreary and deserted places, such as dark forests or barren moors. They also like places of violence, such as the site of a gallows or the scene of a murder. Finally, demons are drawn to crossroads. Why crossroads? 2 symbolizes the devil. 3 symbolizes God, the God of the Trinity. Thus, 2 fingers is the horn of Satan, and 3 fingers are used for blessings. Protection from demons. When a demon appears, the first thing he does is attack. To distract him, throw him a live mouse or a white rat cooked in honey. Other safeguards. According to legend, iron drives away all spirits, good and bad. Since man's first iron was from meteorites, which fell from the sky, the ancients thought it had power. Thus, no iron could be brought into an ancient Greek sanctuary. And the ancient Jews used no iron to make altars or to build the Temple of Jerusalem. In Morocco, they put a dagger under the pillow of the sick. This keeps away demons. End times. According to one sect in Islam, these are the signs of the end times. The Kaaba in Mecca will disappear. The Quran will become blank pages. And those who speak the name of Allah will be killed. The Antichrist. The Antichrist is the man of sin, the son of the jackal. Sinistrari, a 17th century demonologist, said that many believe the Antichrist will be born of a human having sex with a demon. According to Sinistrari, children generated in this manner are tall, very strong, very daring, very magnificent, and very wicked. According to legend, he will be born in a small town on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus, according to Matthew chapter 11 and Luke chapter 10, cursed a certain town. Today it has a ruined synagogue made of black basalt. The Antichrist will speak and walk from birth. To recognize the Antichrist, his number is 666 in most biblical manuscripts, that is. Some manuscripts declare the number of the beast as 616. The Antichrist will be enormously wealthy. According to tradition, for thousands of years, evil people have been burying treasure for him to use when he comes. The hunters of the Antichrist. The Knights of the Apocalypse, a Roman Catholic secret group founded in 1693, allegedly they hunt the Antichrist. Their mission is to kill him in his cradle. There are rumors that they have done this several times already. In 1994, members of the Order of the Solar Temple committed collective suicide. Before they killed themselves, they drove a stake through the heart of a 3-month-old baby named Emmanuel Dutoit. The Solar Temple believed that the child was the Antichrist. The man who staked the child, Jerry Janou, believed he was the reincarnation of the Roman soldier who lanced the side of Jesus on the cross. To atone for his crime, Janou believed he had to kill the Antichrist. The Black Mass. The Black Mass is a blasphemous parody of the Roman Catholic Mass. William Seabrook, American adventurer and writer, said he attended black masses in London, Paris, and New York in the 1920s and 1930s. Seabrook said the ceremony was conducted to restore the power of Lucifer. The service is conducted by a renegade priest. The Latin Mass is uttered backward. The altar holds a naked virgin with a chalice of red wine between her breasts. An acolyte dressed in red defiles a host in her vagina. One infamous black mass is the Mass of Saint-Sacaire. Very literally, it is a requiem mass, or a mass for the dead, conducted for someone who is still alive. The victim, whose name is inserted into the liturgy, will stop eating, grow thin, spit blood, and die. Even more blasphemous is the Mass of the Holy Spirit. According to satanic legend, it forces God to grant one wish. How to see Satan. To see Satan at midnight, go to crossroads. Kneeling and naked, say the Lord's Prayer backward. Careful, some people have gone insane doing this. Another technique is to look into a mirror and call Satan's name. The mirror should be triangular. Another technique, according to Abbot Guibert de Nogent, who lived in the 12th century, if a man masturbates and eats his own semen, the devil will appear. When the devil appears, he will rip your soul from your body and drag you into hell. Satan and women. According to legend, Satan tries to seduce innocent girls. He tries to corrupt faithful wives and sweet virgins with long, beautiful hair. According to tradition, women who are sexually active outside of marriage are never molested by the devil because they already are going to hell. Oddly, the devil's favorite disguises are a wealthy gentleman, a Christian clergyman, or a learned scholar. In a famous trial in 1275, Angela de la Barthe confessed to a carnal relationship with the devil. She said she had sex with Satan. His genitalia were the size of a child's arm. His reproductive fluids were ice cold, according to her account. She gave birth to a creature that was half wolf and half snake. The monster would not consume her milk, and she kept it alive by feeding it stolen human babies. Ghosts. Ghosts are the malevolent dead. They are people who have violent, painful, or unhappy deaths, and who remain angry at the living. Plato said we can see ghosts because they were wicked people in life. Good souls, he said, are transparent, but evil souls are visible. According to some American Indians, however, a ghost is simply the shadow of a soul. Just as living bodies leave shadows on the ground, after death, the soul in the other world may cast a shadow here. Ghost hunting. If you go ghost hunting, never go alone. According to the Aboriginal people of Australia, when a person is alone, a spirit, even of a loved one, may do him mischief. A spirit will not molest people in a group, however, so people are taught never to be alone. As I mentioned initially, if you go ghost hunting, always take a candle. According to legend, if the candle fire burns blue, it is a sign that a spirit is present. Shakespeare mentioned this in Richard III. Modern science denies that ghosts exist, but millions of people claim they have seen apparitions. In contrast, no one has actually ever seen an electron, but we believe electrons exist. Estimates are that England may have 50,000 ghosts. One village in Kent is England's most haunted place. Ghosts are normally harmless. You should feel pity for them rather than terror. But there are exceptions. The Flying Dutchman ghost ship sails for eternity with a crew of damned souls. In legend, the captain comes ashore every 100 years to find a woman. Anyone who sees the ship will die a horrible death. Where to see ghosts? The site of a violent crime is the best place to see a ghost. Go to a place where a war, a suicide, a murder, or an especially lethal accident occurred. Guido von List, who died in 1919, said an act of violence impregnates the place where it is committed. One good place for ghost hunting is the Colosseum in Rome. The Colosseum, which covers 6 acres, was designed to hold 50,000 to 80,000 spectators. The floor of the arena covers roughly 49,000 square feet. Over its history, at least 10 humans died for every square foot of arena space. This means that approximately 500,000 people died there. Ghosts also thrive in places where strong negative emotions are manifested. If people living in a house feel strong fear, anger, or hatred, they increase the chance of a haunting. Oddly, almost all haunting occurs around water, such as a stream or a river or a lake. According to an old belief found from Europe to Aboriginal Australia, the dead cannot cross water, so they gather in such places. Ghosts appear in day or night, but they seem most common in humid, foggy, and rainy nights. How to make a house haunted. This is a voodoo spell from Haiti. When a person dies, a sorcerer secretly drives 2 nails into a beam in a house where the death took place. The dead person will be trapped in the house, and he will torment the family. How to check if your house is haunted. To see if your bedroom is haunted, spread ashes on the floor. If the house is haunted, you will find footprints in the morning. How to invoke the dead. According to Paracelsus, a Renaissance scholar, the fumes of fresh blood draw the dead. Fresh blood, animal or human, attracts spirits. Menstrual blood, animal or human, attracts demons. Another technique, you can summon a ghost simply by naming a dead person. If his body is not decayed or cremated, he will appear. Who sees ghosts? Animals, especially dogs, are sensitive to the presence of ghosts. A general rule, dogs sense the presence of ghosts, cats sense the presence of demons. Among humans, not everyone can see ghosts. According to Pliny, an ancient writer, people with freckles cannot see ghosts. Children, especially young girls under 12 years of age, are best able to see ghosts. If you cannot actually see a ghost in a haunted house, you may be able to sense its presence. To check for so-called cold spots, use your left hand. The left hand is supposed to be more receptive. Also, be attentive to odors. Angry ghosts have a stagnant or unpleasant smell. Ghost and treasure. If you see a ghost, wait until daylight and then start digging at the site. According to an English legend, ghosts lurk around buried treasure. Communicating with ghosts. According to an ancestor of Carl Jung, the psychologist, the dead are everywhere among the living and can be addressed, but only if one knows the language. Ebenezer Sibley, an 18th century occultist, disagreed. According to Sibley, only the spirits of those murdered in circumstances uncommonly horrid and cruel are able to speak. Everyone agrees, however, that if you want to talk to a ghost, you must speak first. According to tradition, a ghost cannot talk to you until you talk to him. If a ghost replies, however, be careful. Do not believe anything he says. Terrestrial spirits, earthbound spirits, are great liars. According to Ebenezer Sibley, spirits only speak the truth when they are confined to a triangle. The dead, moreover, actually have less information than the living. They do not know the future or the present. They know only the past, their past. In terms of memory, knowledge, and information, a ghost is frozen, changeless. For as long as he exists, he will be as he was the day he died. The living constantly change, but the dead never change. Interesting fact, if a ghost communicates with you, there is one thing he can never do. A ghost cannot laugh with joy. Only a living person can laugh with joy. How to protect yourself from ghosts. In many cultures, the people believe that sharp or pointed objects like knives and thorns repel spirits. Another protection, throw a handful of grave earth into the ghost's face. He will turn into an animal and obey your commands. According to legend, the most potent grave earth is from the Holy Innocent Cemetery in France. It was said that the earth there consumed buried bodies in 24 hours. Sadly, the graveyard no longer exists. How to destroy a ghost. To destroy a ghost, you must find its corpse and burn it. According to legend, as long as the skull and 2 leg bones remain, the ghost lives. Other methods. Dismember the corpse, or stake it to the earth, or weigh it down underwater. Still another method. Bury the corpse face down in a grave filled with horns. Nicholas Steinberg, a London murderer, committed suicide in 1834. To keep Steinberg from haunting, the authorities buried him in such a fashion. Omens of death. These are the omens of death. A clock chimes unexpectedly between hours. A white flower blooms out of season. A black beetle scrambles over a shoe. You cast a headless shadow on Christmas Eve. Worst of all, if you cannot see your own reflection in a mirror, it is a sign of approaching death. Dream omens of death. If a man dreams of an old man with a mummified penis, it means he is going to die. In India, if a man dreams he has sexual intercourse with a female ape or the mouth of a virgin girl, he will die. According to a dream book from ancient Rome, a dream about eating books means sudden death. If the dreamer is a teacher or someone who earns a living from books, however, it means good fortune. A plague is coming. In astrological lore, when there is a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn and Mars, that is a portent of plague. Quite rare, it happened in 1345, just before the Black Death, which killed 1/4 to 1/2 of the population. The conjunction also occurred in 2018. A good omen. According to the ancient Egyptians, if a man in a dream sees himself dead, he will live a long life. Another good omen, if you dream of a tomb in good condition, it means a wedding or a birth. Necromancy, divination of the dead, is the most dangerous and dubious of all magical pursuits. Those who practice it risk becoming possessed. The dead are invoked to discover buried treasure or unknown secrets. To awaken the dead, you must prepare yourself for 9 days and 9 nights. You must wear grave clothes stolen from corpses. You must recite a funeral service over yourself. You must live on a diet of dog's flesh and black bread baked without salt or leavening. You must drink the unfermented juice of grapes. After 9 days at midnight, go to a grave. A stormy night with wind, rain, and lightning is best. It is difficult for the dead to communicate on a calm night. Draw a circle around the grave. Burn henbane, aloe wood, hemlock, saffron, opium, and mandrake. Open the grave and remove the corpse. Place the head to the east and the arms and the legs in the position of Christ crucified. Ring a necromancy bell. This is a bell that has rested on a grave for 7 days and 7 nights. Such a bell has the power to awaken the dead. Touch the corpse 3 times with a wooden wand and command it to rise. 3 times command the corpse to answer questions. Declare to the corpse that it will wander and suffer torments for 21 years if it does not obey. The corpse will sit up and answer all questions. The recently dead will answer in a hollow voice. Older cadavers will squeak incoherently. When the rite is completed, reward the deceased by burning his corpse. A cremated cadaver can never be disturbed again. Conclusion. When dealing with the supernatural, remember the words of the Jains, who belong to an ancient religion from India. According to the Jains, the wind is known to exist, even though it is never seen. One final point. I have not revealed all my secrets tonight, and that is intentional. According to the traditional people from the Pacific Isles, you must never reveal all your secrets. On the day a person reveals all his secrets, he dies.